Hi, this is Art Lieberman, and I just want to tell you about what I'm thinking about here about weight loss today. So, I last January of 2020, I decided to start trying this thing called intermittent fasting. I'd read about it for some years here and there. I never delved strongly into reading about it. It seemed like not for me. But I went to my doctor in January and he said, you know, maybe you ought to try intermittent fasting. He was just gentle about it. And I thought, what the heck? I'll try it. And it wasn't even really about weight loss. It was more about joint pain. How can we deal with joint pain? Let's reduce inflammation in my body. And so I was 218, 219, 220, something like that. I'd lived for years at 225 and dropped my weight down into the 180s for about a year. And I've written a blog on that called The Final 15 Pounds. Still working on that blog here and there. When I want to post a blog piece about my weight loss, that's where I write about it. Uh, and anyway, so I started the intermittent fasting. Well, immediately the weight started to drop. And I'm like, well, I want to encourage this. So I started to pull on another lever. So the first lever I'm calling it's intermittent fasting. Very strong, very helpful. And the way I did it is I fasted for 17 hours and I could eat during a 7 hour window. And boy, did it work. Then I started working on lowering my carbs. And so those are the two levers that really make a big change in me. I work on drinking enough water. I work on getting enough sleep. All those are important. I exercise, but not a lot. I'm really a lightweight exerciser due to joint pain, and it's really easy for me to inflame those joints. But and I don't count carbs. To me, that just like, it's too much work. So what I do is pay attention to how many carbs are in food. Like every time I eat it, I don't count. I don't count for the day or any of that. But if I notice my weight's not dropping like I want it to, or if I notice uh, that I've gained a little weight, then I start paying attention more carefully to the carbs. And boy, if you cut carbs, for me, okay, obviously not true for every single person, but when I cut carbs, I lose weight. And when I shorten the feeding window, so now my feeding window is real happy when I fast for 20 hours a day. And I know when I say that, if you've never done this, it sounds torturous. And here's the thing you have to understand: it's not torturous at all. In fact, when I was doing that 7 hour, that was harder then when I started that than to go for 20 something hours without food is now. So on my clock right now it's 10:30. Well, I haven't eaten anything since noon yesterday. So that's, we're 22, 23 hours, working on that. And it's not bothering me in the least. So, and because what happens when you drop carbs, you want to eat less. That works for most people. I'm sure it doesn't work for some people. I don't think there's anything in this game that works for everybody. But these things I'm telling you work for lots of people because I've read lots of people say it. So, and the more you fast, the easier it is to fast. At first, the 17 hours of fasting were hard, but I could make it over the line. I'd be like, I can make it, and I drink some water or something, I can make it. And in a book I read this little quote that helped me a lot. It was, hunger is not an emergency, unless you're actually starving, which I am not. Hunger is not an emergency. I have lots of fat that my body can utilize. Well, in the first few weeks, your body doesn't really know how to utilize all that fat at first. It wants carbs, and so it keeps asking you for carbs. But after a few weeks, and it's different for everybody, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, somewhere in there, uh, if you just kind of get past that craving, you'll be all right. When those first cravings come, you drink some water. After about a half an hour, the craving goes away, and then it'll hit you again in 3 or 4 hours. And if you wait through that, it'll hit you again. The hunger comes in these cycles, and if you don't feed yourself immediately, your body gets the message that, oh, we're not going to eat right now. Okay, well, let's go back to what we're doing, and it stops bothering you. So here I am today in a 22 something hour situation, and I'm not bothered at all by it. Um, but what I want to tell you is now my body weight is down to 165, and and I'm okay. So I'll tell you this: I've been down to 163. I've been down to 162 for one day, 162 and change for a day, and I bounce back up. So I get these little spots where my body doesn't really want to break past it. It just kind of wants to jump back up, and so that's when you got to really pay attention to. That's what I found is I got to really pay attention to exactly what I'm eating, and bust down some carbs and shorten up my feeding window. So there you have it. Hey, I want you to know that this week I'm coming out with a book. If everything works out, Lord willing, I'm coming out with a book that is called. I didn't really mean for my finger to go on my nose there. It just did. So I was going here. So I'm not picking my nose. So it's called The Lazy Art of Weight Loss because one day I woke up and I went, this isn't hard. I just pull on one lever or another. The intermittent fasting isn't hard. It was a little uncomfortable for a month or so. And I think it's more uncomfortable for women at first than it is for men. Um, so you got to ease into it more if you're a woman, as a rule. Because again, everybody's different. You're different from me. And I'm a middle aged man, and this works. I think it'll work for a lot of people. So, so I wrote a book about it. I had a lot of time off this year, as maybe some of you did too. So I sat down and wrote a book, The Lazy Art of Weight Loss. It's going to debut at 99 cents. And the reason I want to debut it so low is I want a whole bunch of reviews. Good, bad, whatever. You like it, you don't like it, tell me. And I'll correspond with you personally. If you're trying what I'm doing and it's not working, or if I say something in the book that doesn't make sense, let me know and I'll edit the book. So we'll start like that, and then we'll get some Amazons flowing on Goodreads and Amazon, and that's what I'm hoping. So, hey, have a blessed day.